Hey there, today I'm stuffed in the front of my car just trying to work on the electrical system, get some turn signal flashers.
Garage time.
Okay, last time I did a video on this fuse panel, I had two circuits working. I had basically just one fuse, but it is the brake lights. I got the brake lights to work, and I also got the power to the ignition coil, which happens to be this wire. Today, I'm going to try to get the turn signals to work. I live in a congested area, so if I'm gonna drive this car on the road during the day, I need at least brake lights and turn signal. Juan Carlos sent me the turn signal flasher, so hopefully that'll get me going. Also notice I painted this fuse panel. It looks much better than it did before. It was pretty rusty and sun damaged sitting outside in a Nevada desert. I'm just using my iPad here to really track down the wires needed for the turn signals. And it looks like it's all based on S11 again. So it's the green-red wire that goes to the connector under the dash, right where the turn signal switch would plug in, or the emergency flasher switch would plug in. So I'm looking for a green-red. Yep, right here, green-red. It's kind of green-pink, but okay. So now I want to find out which connector it goes. It's called T6E, and that just tells me it's under the dashboard. Let's try to track it. So I have my multimeter set here on beep mode. I hear it beeping. So I'm going to clamp one of the wires to the green-red. And then back here, I'm just going to start checking each of these terminals to see which one it goes to. All these wires are taped up, so there's really no other way to do this. It looks like on the diagram it only goes to one connector, but I'm gonna go around and check. Okay, this connector here that really goes into the instrument panel connects to another harness which goes to the emergency switch, the emergency flasher switch. And of course I don't have that one. So without that switch, I'm gonna have to probably use a jumper because I don't even have that harness. So I'll have to jumper that so we get power to the flasher relay box. This is what creates the blinking on and off. Okay, unfortunately I couldn't find a pinout of all these connector colors or locations. And the back of the flasher is not labeled either. So I have to go by the wiring colors. So I'm going to just remove some tape so I can see what wires are which. So I need to jumper the red-white to the green-red. Here's the green-red. Okay, those jumpers are going to bypass at least one part of the emergency flasher switch, which I don't have. I may have it someday, but I don't have it today. And then right here, this is the only connector that has this 4-spade terminal on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in. Okay, I've actually applied power just using a small RC car battery here. You can't really see it, it's down by my feet, and it's grounded to the car. And I have this test light, which is an incandescent bulb. You kind of need something with a lot of current so that this flasher will work. But I've already checked that there's power on both sides of the fuse here. So we should have power to the flasher. And then it's this wire right here. It's black with green and white. And it just so happens to be poking out right here. I think this is the one for the instrument bulb. So I'm going to strip that back a little bit and test it. Oh yeah. So I can hear the flasher clicking and the lights are clicking. That's good. Okay, I think this wire here is for the instrument bulb. I think this one is actually the one that goes to the turn signal switch. Hey, a good thing just happened. I was digging through my box of wires to find a connector that I could borrow the pins to do a jumper. And I found the hazard switch. I think Juan Carlos must have sent me this and I totally forgot about it. It's been a few months. So now I have that. I am going to plug it in and see if I can remove the jumpers and still get the lights to function. So this is great news. I'm going to leave this in the video, the sort of troubleshooting though. It may be in the future that I might eliminate the hazard switch. I don't know. And each time before I connect power, I always make sure there's no shorts to the battery. And just so you guys know, the ignition key is in the run position or on position. So now it's working without the jumper. Just adding in some old fuses here. Yeah, this probably isn't going to surprise you either, but I don't have the actual turn signal switch that goes next to the steering wheel. I'm looking for one of the earlier types. Like I like the older style that's just the stock. It doesn't have any markings on it or anything. I think it's like 72 and earlier. I haven't found one yet. They can be a little pricey. Eventually this car will have that switch, but for the time being and getting this car to go around the block, I'm just going to wire in a toggle switch, and I'm sure someone's going to dislike the video, but that's the way it is. The budget is important to me, and it'll make more sense later on, but I'm tightening the strings a little bit on the budget. I know I'm either at or slightly over my 10,000 limit. This is my temporary turn signal switch. I'll probably just mount it to the dashboard, left, right. This just diverts power to left or right. It's a 3-position switch. So I'm going to hook it up now here in the middle. And then when I select this through the D connector, it's going to route it back to the fuse panel and then out to the front markers. Okay, I just determined this is the D connector, and that's where the actual turn signal switch goes to. So I'm just doing a jumper from there to here. This will all go under the dash, by the way. So now there's still power applied. I should be able to get some signal here on the actual turn signal wire harness. So that's off. And that's a left turn. Got the light blinking. And then I'll route the same thing for the right side. It's going to be off this one. So I just got to determine which pin is connected to the bottom of S9, and then that'll be for the other side of the car. I've just made up a small harness with my temporary turn signal switch here on the end. It has a factory style plug-in harness. So this is plug and play. When I get the actual turn signal switch, I just remove this one and plug the original one in. But this is the correct pin out, the correct wire colors, everything is correct about this. So it'll just plug right in the factory location. Right now I have one side selected. There's the other side. So there's left and right turn signals. So now I'm going to plug all this stuff into the factory locations, go under the dash, and make something to attach my silly little turn signal switch. Just putting a little silicone oil on so I can try to get it through the hole in the car. Okay, I think it's plugged in. Okay, I'm not entirely sure it's correct, but I'm going to put it in this upper hole right behind where the flasher location goes. And if you guys know if this is not right, just let me know. Okay, I mounted my switch in an existing hole here on my dashboard. So there's right, there's left. This is the hazard thing. The hole's too big. It's supposed to have a bezel or the foam dash or whatever. This will all get customized later on, but I do have a mounted turn signal switch. Clearly it's supposed to go here, and I will be looking for the correct part. This is only to get me down the road for a little bit. So now that everything's under the dash, just do one quick check here. Left is S10. And then switch it to right. That's right. That should be S9. Cool, I'm gonna go check in the rear and make sure it's doing the same thing. Clearly I need to add the harness that goes out to the front turn signals. That's 2 more off the list. Front stock signal switch and the turn signal flasher working. Some purists may not like my turn signal switch, but you know, it is temporary and I have a better understanding of how the harness works and how all those connectors work. So when I do get the correct switch, it should be a slam dunk to put it in. I do need to restore or at least get the bulb sockets working in the front turn signal housings and also find the wire harness that goes to the front. That'll be next time.